Have you ever lost your patience with someone? Have you ever responded in a moment of difficulty by being harsh or sharp? Certainly anyone who's married or any parent knows the answer to that question is a resounding, well, of course I have. We all have been confronted with relationships in our life or circumstances in our life that we respond to them in a very harsh, impatient manner. And if we're not very, very careful, we can begin to think that that is how God responds to us. Psalm 50 warns us to not think in these kinds of terms. Psalm 50, the Lord warns us by saying, "You thought that I was just like you." The warning there is that we can often impute the way that we respond and begin to think that God is just like that. So if we are impatient with our kids or overly harsh with them at times, we can think that God's that way with us. And the flaw in that is he isn't like us. He's not harsh. He's not sharp. In fact, Isaiah chapter 42, Isaiah says that the suffering servant who is Christ, it says, "A bruised reed he will not break, and a faintly burning wick he will not quench." The understanding to what Isaiah is saying there is, I think, very simple. The heart of Christ is so filled with gentleness that even when his children are smoldering, their faith like a candle has gotten so low that it puts off more smoke than light, that he's so gentle, he doesn't just snuff them out in impatience. That even when his children are so bruised by sin and so afflicted by weaknesses, that they're like a bent piece of grass that can hardly even hold up their own weight, he doesn't just come by in a moment of impatience and snap them off. Christ, in his character and at the core of who he is gentle. Very unlike us. And the next verse tells us why he is that way, or why he's maybe qualified to be so gentle. It says that he doesn't break off bent pieces of grass or bruised reeds. He doesn't snuff out smoldering wicks for a very simple reason. Verse 4 says, it's because he doesn't, and the literal sense is, because he doesn't smolder and he is not bruised. The sense is he's not stained by sin like we are. He doesn't smoke or is bruised like we often are or always are, but he's perfectly equipped to be a gentle Savior. I find that to be one of the most comforting things in this section of Isaiah is that I know myself, and I know that I need patience and I need gentleness. And the reassuring testimony of the Scripture is you have a Savior who is gentle and perfectly suited to tenderly, carefully shepherd people whose faith is like a dying candle, people whose lives are like a bruised piece of grass, that he's not impatient like us, and we can trust that he will always be gentle with his people.